Hello, everybody. It's Stephen and Walter here again for another edition of So Chatty, and we're continuing with my shirt creation, and we're almost finished it. But before we get on to what we're going to be doing today, some notes. Nothing to show you from either one of us because I've shown you everything I can on the vlog and on the Idiot Quilter. So we can move right into announcements. Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, Wednesdays, 9 a.m. Every Wednesday. All are welcome. Link is in the show notes below. It is a Zoom. And just a reminder that raffle tickets are still available for the Air Hope draw for one of my quilts that I donated to them, and there's a link for where you can get those tickets in the show notes as well. Okay, that's all of that stuff out of our way. Anything you would like to add? No, good. Okay, moving right along, then what are we doing today?
Well, for today, I think we're going to kind of finish the shirt, I think.
So that entails, if I can get it off the hook, so it looks like a shirt, doesn't it? It does. I'm really happy about this. Okay, so we have to do what? We have to hem the bottom and the sleeves.
Right, and then we got to, well, we're going to trim the bottom first too, because we have a spot here that
A little
is
uneven.
a little uneven. So we just even it up at the bottom, and then we'll hem the bottom, we'll hem the sleeves, and then I'll show Steve how to do buttonholes and buttons.
Okay, so first of all, we're going to start with the hemming. So forget about the buttons for now. There is a possibility we won't get to buttons today, but I think we probably will. So, okay, so Walter says that we need to trim this little sucker because we've got a spot here. Let me change the camera position for you. Get this out of my way. Okay, if you look here at the bottom, right here, that has to be trimmed. The other side's okay, but that side, for some reason,
Yeah, it was a little uneven. So give me a pair of, what do you call it?
Scissors.
Actually, I'd rather use the applique scissors if you have them.
Down on the side, rack, on the magnetic bar. Okay.
Okay, so all I'm going to do here is take this here and just trim it down so it meets the other piece here.
Oh, okay. So
it's just so it doesn't look
well,
too
that's
weird.
interesting that you showed me that way because my first thought was to go all the way to the edge and in, but I guess
No,
don't need to. So there you go. All right. So now we have little pieces. So how do we hem this? What do we do?
yeah, well, so first we're going to do is, this is my way of doing it because this is the way I learned it. Everybody has their own way of doing it. All you need to do is fold it up once for about 3/8 of an inch, and then you fold it up a second time and then sew it. But
should you clip it?
what I do, what I was taught to do, so that everything stays in place. Because if you do it that way and you just try and sew it, it may start to bunch up and stuff like that.
Okay.
So what I've done here is we'll fold it up and we'll
Clip it?
iron it. We won't clip it.
You're not going to clip it?
No, we're going to iron it, right? And then we'll put steam on here.
Yeah.
Right? And then we'll flip it again and steam it down so it's all adhered, right? And then you just top stitch over top of it.
Okay, so how much of a fold are we doing? 1/4 of an inch, half an inch?
We're doing about 3/8 of an inch.
Of course, I knew you'd say 3/8.
About 3/8.
About. I love this, about. Okay, so that's it. So we got to take it over to the ironing board.
Yeah.
And let me switch the camera over. There we go. Over here. Now Walter's will probably be in the way. So if you stood a little bit more over that way, just so people can see. I mean,
I usually have the shirt the other way around.
What, you mean like this?
Yeah.
Oh, why?
Because you can lay the whole thing on the thing. Now start from this end.
Okay, why?
Because you're right-handed.
Yeah, so?
Okay, and then just fold that over.
Is that too much or too little?
That's about, if it's a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch.
That's really helpful.
That's a little too much. Here, let me do.
You start it.
Okay, so.
I know you're having trouble seeing this, but I can't do much about it. But you know, we're just rolling fabric, and I think most people have done this kind of thing before on other projects. So I don't think this is brain surgery.
Okay, so about that much.
Okay. Awkward when you get to the curve.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, here's a question. I think I might know the answer, but I'm going to ask you. Why does the tail of the shirt in all shirts not cut off straight? Why does it always have a curve?
I was told once, but I can't remember what the
Well,
answer is.
I would say it's so it'll fit your hips,
Yeah, I think it's to fit
you
your
know,
hips,
around
and
this area.
also your tail tucks in usually, but you don't tuck it in always. I think you can actually cut it straight if you want.
Well,
Here, now you're going
am I
too
getting too wide?
Yes, you are.
Well, where did I just tell me?
Here, look at here.
Well,
See?
you said about.
Yeah,
Well, that's about.
that's about half an inch that you're doing there.
We'll give or take 3/8.
Actually, it's more like 3/4 of an inch that you're doing there.
Still too
No,
much?
no, no, it's okay there. Like what you're doing.
But here, why is that too much here?
No,
Hey,
no, it's
wait, I
okay.
have to learn. You're just so impatient with me today, aren't you? Getting close to the end of this.
Yeah, I think you should go off camera because it's going to take forever to do this.
Well, let me go a little bit longer. I'm starting to get into the groove as I burn my fingers. Am I okay for width at the moment?
Yeah, I guess.
It's not a question of I guess. Is this too wide?
No, it's all right, I guess.
I like this precision. We will go off camera for this part because I think there's going to be bloodletting. Okay, there was almost bloodletting because Walter
I was
was
getting impatient with him.
and I said I have to learn how to do it yourself, and that is what a good teacher does. They have patience
So
and let.
he has sort of folded it up.
Oh,
Right?
wait, let me get me. Okay, so this is where this is our first fold. Went over, and it's about 3/8 of an inch. About.
Okay, and now we're going to do steam a seam all the way around the bottom. So that this is a glue. It's a two-sided glue. We used it earlier.
We've used it before here.
Yeah, and it's so we'll iron this down all the way down to the end, and then pull the paper off and fold it over once again and once more with the steam a seam, and it'll glue this hem down so
Okay.
that it'll be it'll sew more evenly.
Okay, so let me review. I am taking this and I'm going to hit it with the iron to stick it down all the way along here.
Right.
And then after it's all stuck down, then we peel off the paper and roll it back over again on top of itself, so and press it so it'll hold that down so we can stitch it, right?
Right.
Okay. I don't think we need to do this on camera. Okay, that was kind of tedious, I have to say. But we've got it pressed down. Now we're going to top stitch it. Are we going to top stitch it from this side, I guess? Or from
Actually,
the
you
other
can
side?
do it from either side. Doesn't really matter.
Well, what side do you do it on?
I usually top stitch it from the front, I think. I can't remember. I think I do it from different sides.
So if you do it from this side,
Just do it a 1/4 inch in.
oh, now you want a 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move the camera over here. Okay. All right, so right now I have my F foot on and I'm set at a 2.4 stitch length.
Right.
So we don't need to change.
Oh, and yeah, okay, and you just put your F foot on there.
Yeah, the F
Yeah,
foot.
well, you know, you're
Oops,
going
sorry,
the
wrong way.
around.
I guess we've already top stitched that part, didn't we? All right, so a 1/4 inch is on the outside of the F foot.
No, that's 3/8 inch. The inside is the 1/4 inch.
That's
Yeah.
in there's a 1/4
Yeah.
inch.
It's
Oh,
about
okay, yeah. Okay, never mind. All right, so I'm just going to follow along
the edge.
here, the edge of that.
Yeah.
In that. Okay. I'm going to slow this down to start with. Big bump here. Do I backstitch?
Actually, I should have had my hump jumper. I need that hump jumper for when you do buttons. Stick that in the back of your foot.
You didn't answer my question.
What?
Should I have backstitched?
No, not really. It's okay. Actually, you should probably. Okay.
Should I go back and backstitch?
Yeah, just a little bit. Okay.
Now, is this catching? Oh, yeah, it is. Lots of space. Okay. And I'm using the same color thread that I've used throughout this whole project, which is the purpley color. Because I don't know, I don't think you really want to see the top stitching. Okay, we need to use the hump jumper here. See, you can use a ruler for a hump jumper. You can use anything.
You can use anything. Piece of cloth, anything. Folded piece of cloth or.
There is that special foot though, the A foot.
Yeah,
That has that. I've never figured out.
I've tried using it a few times, but I've never
I've never figured out how to use it. It's got the, if people know what I'm talking about, it's the foot that has the little screw on one side with this little spring, and supposedly that acts like a hump jumper.
I think you push up you go on your hump and then you push the little button in it, or you straighten out the back of the foot in it.
I think I've tried it once or twice, but I don't have a lot of occasion to use it or use a hump jumper, so I've never bothered with it.
Might want to go off camera for the rest because
yeah, this is going to get a bit tedious, so let's just pause here and we'll be back and show you the end result. Okay, we had words because when I got this all sewn down here, this little piece right here that Walter tells me not to worry about was hanging out a little too far, and you can't cut it off because
it'll make a raw edge.
It'll make a raw edge. But it is the shirt tail. No one's going to see it, but I got it in a little closer. But we just examined the shirt I'm wearing here that Walter created, and there's kind of like that on it too. So these are the things I never noticed before until making this. Okay, so we've got this all hemmed up now. It's all top stitch. So I guess that takes us to the sleeves. So what do we do?
Well, so what we're going to do is sleeves. First of all, we got to make sure they're even.
Why?
Well, there's a spot there that's not very even.
Nobody can see what you're doing. So he's just evening off the shirt sleeves.
Cut the loose threads off.
Okay.
See if that's even or not.
And I know what you're going to say. That's pretty good. That's close enough. That seems to be what the war cry is of a garment sewer. That's close enough. Okay.
I don't like that. It's got chewy on it. Yeah.
What, a chewy?
Yeah.
Well, do you just take a ruler and the rotary cutter and?
Yeah, just take the ruler and the rotary cutter and even it out.
Oh yeah, I see a little chewy down there.
Okay.
Okay, now what?
Try this. Look at the other sleeve. See how we are there. Oh, we're pretty good there. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to have to fold it over. The hem sleeves, you fold it over twice, 1 inch.
1 inch.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 inch each fold?
Yeah.
That seems like an awful lot. That's 2 inches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can make them shorter if you want.
No, I don't want them shorter. I was thinking.
No, they become shorter. You can make them longer if you want. If you only want to go half an inch and half
Well,
an inch,
I want to do what
they'll
you
be a little longer. This is what I've done is an inch.
An inch. Okay, well that seems to be the right size then. So I guess that's the way we should go.
Yeah. So now, I'm usually picky, and other people that I know say just guess, and I'm kind of picky. I don't just.
And yet, that's what you were telling me to do
Yeah.
with it here.
Yeah. Okay.
Might use a.
You can use that. Okay. So now I usually pin it or clip it.
Do you want to pin it or clip it?
Well, if you pin it, you can iron over top of it.
What? Not if you pin it, you can't.
Yes, you can.
Only if you're using the silicone.
Well, you just don't iron on top of the part that you're not supposed to.
Well, you see, for me, that wouldn't happen. I would just iron over top of it. So, which you're not supposed to do. Can you all see what he's doing?
Yeah, I'm just clipping it.
It's a basic hem.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was a basic hem, but then I find out that.
So you want to do the rest?
Well, okay. What, you don't like doing the rest?
I don't like doing it.
That seems like more than an inch. That's about 1 1/4 inches or 1 1/8 inches. Is that still? Well, I guess if we're going to go, I don't know.
Well, don't assume that that's going to be the right length because the shirt pulls and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
okay.
you have to do the inch all the way around.
All right, but you see, we've gone off. That's not an inch now. That's an inch and a half.
Yeah, well, don't do an inch and a half. Do an inch all the way around. Jeez.
Well, I was just following where you fold it.
Don't line up the thing.
All right, let's do this the right way. It's the wrong way. Okay. Let us do this stupid thing while the fit is upon us.
That is not an inch.
I know it's not. I'm measuring it to find an inch. That's still not an inch. That's an inch. That's an inch. And I thought this was going to be easy.
Okay, so we don't have to let people sit here and watch.
No, I'm just let me get a little bit more so they get the feel for it. So I'm using my little seam gauge thing to measure an inch, which still seems like an awful lot to me, but I don't know. What would I know? This is why I'm learning how to do this. We're supposed to be.
Face your clips out a little further. Jesus.
I will. when I get it secured. You can't have too many. Well, maybe you can. That may be excessive, yes. Okay, so I think you guys are getting the point of what I'm doing here.
Okay, once he gets that done, we'll iron the inch flat, and then he'll fold it over another inch.
Another inch?
Yeah, because you got to encase the raw seam, right?
Yeah, I know, but okay, whatever. Oh, geez, this is a lot more awkward than I would have thought.
Yeah, well, you don't do flat pieces of fabric here.
Yeah, well, that's a problem. I'm out of clips. Okay. Is that right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so then we're going to fold it again.
Yeah, but iron it first because it's easier to fold.
Okay, so I'm going to go over to the ironing board and I'm going to iron this first. And
what are you hitting that button for?
I don't know. I'm not sure if we recorded.
Oh.
I may have hit the wrong button. Are we recording now? Yeah, we are. Okay, so you got a little extra conversation. I may cut that out. All right, we're going to go over to, I'm trying to get. Oh, wait, how come I'm not getting the right, oh, there's the camera. Okay, if I hit the right buttons. All right, I'm all flustered. I'm all flustered. Okay, it's all clipped together. I'm going to take it to the ironing board, give this a press. Then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to fold it over again to encase the raw seam. So another inch.
And then you're going to top stitch it.
And then I'm going to top stitch it. Okay, we'll come back just before we go to start the top stitching. Okay, so I have it folded twice. It's
not on camera. You've got it.
Oh, second here. There we go. Okay, so there's the sleeve, inside out, fold it twice, over, and pressed. And we used a ham to press this. Well, we've seen the ham before, but Walter's going to show you the ham again.
This is the ham we used.
Yeah. So I just, it was all clipped around here. I put it in here, took out a clip or two, pressed it, moved it on to the next one, pressed it, etc., taking out the clip. So now I've got the sleeve done. Now we're going to top stitch it, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to top stitch it from this side or the other side?
Yeah, from this side it'll be easier.
Okay, so how far in am I going?
Yeah, well, I'd suggest you put a little piece of cloth under there first and get a leader going, because otherwise you're going to get a bunch on the outside.
Okay. So, all right, let's go over to...
And we're going to start at the...
seam?
That seam, yeah.
Isn't this one a free arm would be handy?
Not really, I don't think so.
Okay, so I don't want to sew my two sides of my sleeve together. So under here, and so I'm going to go
about 1/4 inch. So you go
from this edge.
From that edge, from this edge right here. So what you do is you go
from what edge?
Here.
Oh, from the other side,
yeah.
From the left.
Yeah, because you want it up higher.
Okay. All right, so I'm sewing
from that edge.
From this edge. I don't know if you guys can see that. You probably can't. I'll use my pointer. So see here, there's the left edge of the shirt sleeve, and we're going on the inside foot, on the inside of the foot.
Yeah, so that you'll end up 1/4 inch from here.
Okay, I asked you a question. You did
Yeah,
not
from the
answer it.
inside of the F
So
foot.
right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I suggested you started with a bit of a leader because you'll end up getting what do you call it,
a thread nest.
yeah.
Okay, we will do that. Okay, make sure everything's tucked out of my way. Where's that seam? There's the seam. Bring my foot up.
I'd suggest you start on this side of the seam.
Yeah, I have to lift up my needle.
Okay.
Here?
No, further away, so away from the hump.
Here.
Down. Yeah, there.
Okay. Making sure I'm not sewing my sleeves together because that would not be good.
Actually, this is where you were supposed to use your walking foot. But anyway, it's too late now. Go ahead.
Can't get good help, really. Well, yeah, but this sewing machine has 12 dog feet.
Okay, it might be okay.
So sometimes, because it has so many feet, or not feet, what do you call it? Dog. Yeah, dog feet. Dog feet?
No, feed dogs.
Feed dogs, yes, that's it. I knew there was a term for it. Whereas on other machines, you might need a walking foot. This one, you can sometimes get away without it. Well, we're getting away without it right now, so.
We'll see when we get to the other side. Because if it's going to hump somewhere, it's going to be on that side.
Hump. It's a hump. It's a hump. What are we doing? Sewing a camel? No, we're not. One hump or two. How do these people that work in a sweatshop do it? They just, you see them on TV and they just zip right through.
They do one piece at it. Like you'll have one person just doing sleeves. And it'll come to them already folded up and everything. Okay, now you're going to, maybe not. Okay, actually that one came okay.
Okay. Do I need to backstitch or can I just tie off?
No, you can just tie it off. Okay.
Oops. No.
When you go in a circle, you don't even need to tie it off.
Oh, I guess not, because you're going over to a little bit further on. Okay, let's go back to the other camera. So I have the sleeve all stitched.
You can turn it inside out now.
And now we can turn it in the way it's supposed to go, and it should look perfect and absolutely wonderful. I can turn it inside out. There we go. There we are. We have a sleeve.
Okay, now you just have to press it.
Now I just have to press it. Okay. And then what are we doing next? The other sleeve, right?
The other sleeve.
Okay, we'll come back. Okay, so I have my sleeves done. There we go. Got the right camera. So they're all hemmed up very nicely. So all we have left are the buttonholes and the buttons. So,
well, you're going to have to make a choice here where you're going to put a buttonhole and a button on the top part here or not.
I don't think I want one at the top because
Okay.
I don't do that up.
Yeah, I mean, I usually do the buttonhole, but you don't have to. And if you never do them up, then you don't have to worry about that.
Well, it'll probably choke me to death.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm going to wear a tie with this.
No.
I don't wear ties anymore. So, okay, so what do we need to do
We need
to
a
this?
marking pencil. Do you have a
Chalk?
chalk? Does that one work good?
Yeah, it's brand new. It's the chalk in there. It's the one I got from...
It's kind of a thick chalk.
Okay, picky. That one won't work.
Well, I don't care if it marks okay. Where's the piece of fabric I can mark on?
Well, I don't.
Okay. Well,
I
what we
don't
need
have
to
any
do
fabric.
here
No.
is you have to measure down.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to have to make buttonholes 3.5 inches apart.
All right.
Okay. We're going to start here at about the middle.
Just a second.
Of this part here, right? That's where your first buttonhole would normally go. Would be in the collar, right?
Yeah.
But you're not going to put one in there, right?
Okay.
So what we're going to do though is measure 3.5 inches down from that part, from that where that mysterious buttonhole is, right?
Okay.
And that's where you're going to put your first buttonhole. Okay. Now this what's that?
We're putting the buttonholes on the
left side
of the shirt.
button hand,
Yeah.
the side that the pocket's on.
Yeah. Okay.
And so because your band here, your button band here is about 1.25 inches width.
Yeah.
Right. Well, actually a little bit more, a little less than 1.25. But we want it to go, your buttonhole to go at
We'll
5/8.
Okay. Count your marks.
5/8
All right.
of an inch, right?
Okay.
So what we're
From
gonna,
from the edge
from
of
the
the
edge,
band.
right?
Okay.
So what I do is I measure here 3.5 inches down, right? At 5/8, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're 3.5 inches down. That's where our first one's gonna go. So see, I don't like this pencil.
Okay. I'm always looking for the ideal.
Do you have? You don't. That one might work. I don't know. 1, 2, 3.
That work okay?
I guess. I've got.
Do you want a sharper one?
Do you have a bone?
Do I look like a dog?
I'll get my bone. Stop.
Okay. Go get your bone. Okay, just about forgot we were showing you this. We're marking 5/8 of an inch in from the outside edge of the button band, and we're moving down 3.5 inches between each button. And we started up here in the top. If we were, I'm not putting a button here, but if we were, that's where we start. So 3.5 down, then 7, then 10.5. So increments of 3.5 inches with 5/8 or 5/8 of an inch in from the edge of the button band. Am I right?
Yeah.
Good.
You want to do the rest of them?
Go ahead. You got that one there. I did the first 3 while you were upstairs.
Yeah, well, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so that's 3.5, so I need to go to 7. And we're making a little crosshairs here too. This is where you really need a good marking pencil. So at 10, no, 3, 10.5. Eighths, 3.5.
Yeah, that's your bottom one.
Okay. All right. So we have these all marked. Okay. What do we do now?
Now we go. You guys get your buttonholer out, and you got to do a practice buttonhole.
Okay. So back to the sewing machine. So pop off the F foot. I have my buttonholer right here. If I can get it out of the bag. Okay. Attach it to the machine now, or put the button in first.
Put a button in first. So
okay, buttons are there.
So what we're gonna do here, let's top and we show here on the camera.
Well, here, let me, well, can you, what, you want to go over here and do it?
Yeah.
Okay, here.
Here's your buttonholer. And you place the button in the top here, and then it's supposed to put it to the right size. So I need to open this. Where's your here? I can never open these.
No, it's just on a little, I think I've used this once.
Yeah, and you put your button in. It's still not big enough.
Now, is there a right side and wrong side to the button?
Yes, there is.
You're a lot of trouble there. So how do I know which side's the right side?
Well, this side's the button. This side has a little indent in it. The other side is flat.
Okay, so you're putting it with the indent face up or the flat side down.
All we really care is the width of the button.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you put it in upside down here.
But maybe it does. Want to be consistent.
And you slide it back shut so the button is inside your buttonholer.
Okay.
Now on these buttons, they're a little wider than a regular button. So I move this slider. There's a little slider that says L and S. And I move it a little bit towards the L.
Okay, show that closer to the camera, what you just did.
There's an L and an S. So and in the middle is, you adjust it here. In the middle, there's a screw, and you can move it up and down. You can move it to S for smaller, or you can move it to L for larger. These buttons are a little bit oversized. They're a little thicker than normal buttons. So I move it up closer to the L so the buttonhole gets a little bigger, right? So that it's easier for the button to go through the hole.
Okay.
Okay. Now this part attaches to your machine, and there's a little lever that drops down in your machine that keeps the buttonholer from moving too far down on the machine.
Okay.
Now what you do is these dots that we've got here line up in this spot here. You line them up in this window here, and that's where the buttonhole goes through.
So this has a little red arrow on either side of that window. So you're lining your button up in between those two red arrows.
Right. And so, and the other thing is this buttonholer comes in two pieces. There's a top piece and a bottom piece. And what you do is you wedge your fabric in between the two pieces to stabilize the fabric. It's a stabilizer to keep things in the right place.
Okay, so let's go to the machine and set this up. So what you just said, we'll
now,
see in
what
practice.
I'd like you to do, if you have a scrap piece of fabric that you can use
to experiment on.
Yeah.
Yes, I probably have a scrap piece of fabric. Somewhere I have a scrap piece of fabric. Does it matter if it's a dark color? Probably easier if it was a lighter color, right?
Well, yeah.
To see. Well, wouldn't you know? I've got scraps. Why didn't you tell me we'd need a scrap piece when we started? Okay. This'll work.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay, just a second. Let me cut off a chunk here. So well prepared. Not... Okay, let me just give that a light press because there's a wrinkle in it. All right, so got the camera over here. All right. So
fold your fabric in half.
Well, I was going to put the thing on first, but whatever.
Well, you need a double piece of fabric.
Okay, let's fold it in half. Okay. All right, so this is going under here just like you'd put on
a regular foot.
Okay, I'm on.
Okay, now lift up your thing and slide your fabric underneath. Slide it between the two pieces, like I said.
Okay.
Okay. Go further down because your buttonhole ends up going the other way.
Towards me, the other way?
Yeah, towards you, yeah. No. If you slide it down further down because your buttonholes start going down here.
Okay.
Okay, so what happens is it'll sew the buttonhole down here. Like you start here in your little
Nobody
window.
Can see you.
Okay. Okay.
We need a cameraman.
Okay, if you put your button, if you
Now,
put it,
would you look in this monitor?
okay, buttonhole, when you put it in the little window, your buttonhole will sew down here. So you can't put it at the end of your fabric because your buttonhole will go off the end.
Okay, but we marked on the fabric where we want to start the buttonhole.
That's right. But this is a scrap piece of fabric.
Okay, so we don't, so really, we don't give a crap, do we? So much, as long as that it's,
No.
we're trying to make sure that the buttonhole's the right
Okay, now
size.
you gotta spin your camera around.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Are you people confused? Because, I mean, I wouldn't blame you if you were. All right, so I'm putting this, but down here.
No, further down.
Which way is down for you?
For
Do you mean toward me or
okay,
away
if
from
you
me?
put it here, your
Yeah.
buttonhole will sew into space.
Okay, you're saying down, and I have obviously a different definition of the word down. You show me. You put it in.
Let's put it in way down here.
So that's up.
Oh, well, that's up for you. It's down for me.
You mean away from me?
Away from you. Yeah.
Okay, we've got
now
that
you got to
figured out.
choose your buttonhole setting.
Okay.
Okay. That's number. We'll do number 1.
Number 1. Okay, number 1
Now,
is just your standard
I'm trying to
rectangular
figure
hole.
out what your settings are because the settings on my machine are different.
Okay, so what do these settings mean? That's the closeness of the stitch, right? Because it's like a satin stitch. I don't know what these mean.
No, I don't know what those mean either.
Well, what settings do you have on your machine?
I have 4 and 3 for the
what,
length.
4 here and 3 here?
No.
Well, where do you
Because
have the 4
I
and
only
3?
I don't have 3 numbers here. I have the width, I have the density. The length is 0.3. I put density at 3.3. But let's do a sample one right here first.
Okay, fine. So
In
what do I
default
do?
mode.
Okay, so I just
Okay, wait. You've got to put your little thing down.
you put your little thing down, and I'll sew over it. Okay, so we pulled down this little
Lever.
bar here. All right, now what?
Just so.
Just so. Can I take my foot off the pedal when it starts?
No.
Will it? Okay, I have to keep it down all the time. Okay, so is that's not very nice.
No, I know. That's why I usually.
That doesn't look very good. That is kind of like, it doesn't look like a satin stitches per se. So is that this setting?
Okay, set that setting at 3.0. Okay, try that again. Further down. Okay.
Look, Ma, no hands. That looks a little better.
Is that actually better?
Yeah, it is. See, look, here it's a bigger gap. Here it's closer. I don't like what I did there.
Yeah, I don't know
But
what these numbers are here.
well, watch your diagram. It'll show you.
And
I don't
see
know
the
what that is.
diagram doing anything.
Okay, what did it default at? 0.8. and 5.0. So if we go...
Go actually try this. I'm trying to figure out what my settings are here.
You may want to fast forward through this part, people.
Okay. Try that. I don't know what this 0.8 is.
I don't know.
You might want to put it on stop until we get it figured out.
Put what on stop?
The recording. I don't know if people want to sit through us trying to figure this out.
Okay, so we've got the settings now, and here's what it looks like on my machine right here. And you see these three numbers. So we changed the one that's got the plus and the minus up here to 0.30. That's the density of the stitch, I think. It's basically doing like an almost a satin stitch, a very close zigzag. And then the 0.8, 0.8 and the 4.0, we left it at the default of 0.8, but we changed this one to 4.0, and that seemed to give us a little better stitch. So that's what we're going to use for our settings. Walter has put the shirt.
Okay, see where the dot is? I put it in where the dot is, right?
Where the dot is. Okay, so right there between those two red marks, dead center.
Yeah.
So it's under the center of the needle.
I've lined the shirt up along the inside of this.
Okay, get your fat hands. Okay, along the edge of that right there.
Yeah, you notice that the shirt is between the buttonhole and the bottom stabilizer plate.
Okay.
Okay, so now we'll stitch this out.
Do consult your manual for doing the buttonholes. So you see, I know it's difficult to see in this position because it's even difficult for us to see and not be on camera because of the way this little apparatus is all set up. But it's basically drawing out the buttonhole, sewing out the buttonhole, and it's going around the edges, reinforcing them using a very tight zigzag or almost a satin stitch. And it does this automatically, and then it cuts the thread when it's finished, and
you have a buttonhole.
Where's the buttonhole? And there's the buttonhole. Now, I know the answer to this. The buttonhole is not open, but we have to cut that later, and we'll show you how to do that when we get there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to make the next one. We're not going to do it on camera. I'm going to do the other buttonholes, and then we'll be back and show you what happens after that. Okay, so we have stitched the buttonholes in here. Of course, no one can see that. There you go. See, there's one right there. There's another. Okay, so now we have to open them. So
the way I do it, but everybody has their own way of doing it. Some people put a pin on the other end of it and they just seam rip up to it, right? I'm sorry. Some people just put a pin in the end and just seam rip all the way up. But what I like to do is I like to open it completely. So I put a seam ripper in one end, inside where the satin stitching is, right? And I seam rip about halfway up in the center. And you're cutting the fabric in between the two satin stitches of the buttonhole. Then I turn it around and I start at the other end, right at the end of the satin stitching, and I seam rip the rest of the way up until I hit the spot where it's open. So that way I have a full buttonhole.
Okay. Now there is a device you can use, and I have one. It looks like a little chisel.
Yeah.
And a cutting mat, and you take a hammer and the chisel and you put it in there and you do that. But I have never used it, but I've seen it used.
I have one. I tried using it once. I got frustrated with it.
Now what some people do is right here at the top, they put in a pin. And then they take the seam ripper
But what I think is you don't get a full rip in there. don't do it all the way to the end. Stick it in the other way so that you don't rip past the end.
Well, I've got a hole here now.
Yeah, I know, but your hole may not big enough.
Yeah.
For the button.
You don't hear that every day.
Here, so what you do is here, give a button, take a button, right? And you try and stick it, take a button, and you try and stick it through your hole.
Okay, this is getting filthier every second of the way.
There it goes through. Okay.
So
yeah,
we can get a hole or a button in our hole. Well, let's do this one more time your way. Okay, so a little awkward when I'm trying to do it on camera. There we go.
That way you open up your full button.
Yep.
Hole.
Okay, so I've got 2 more to do, so I'll do 2 more off camera and we'll be back. Okay, so our buttonholes are all cut through. Now what Walter's doing is, explain.
Okay, I'm going to line up the 2 collars at the top, right? So that the seams are both together, right? And I'm lining up the 2 button bands so that they're right on top of each other.
And then are you going to pin this? So.
Yeah, I'm going to pin this in a second here. So I want to pin the 2 collars together. So that stays in place. And then I'm going to mark down, oh geez, that's not right. The button band. I want it to cover the stitching of the other button band.
Okay, let's back up here a second. What are you lining up here? You're putting the 2 button bands on top.
I'm putting 2 button bands on top, but you have a line of stitching that comes down on the other side of the button band. You want to cover that up so that when you button your shirt up, you don't see that other.
So are we lining up the stitch line that's on this button line with the stitch line that's on the one underneath?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
So but we line up the top part, the top neckline. Can't get this pin off the thing. And then I pin that in together so they stay together. But it's not happening.
You want a different pin? That might be one of the finer ones.
No, I need a different pin.
Here, try. I think that's a thicker one. What if you used a clip?
Yeah. Okay, so that's good enough. So now I want to see where the first button goes. So I'm going straight down the button band. Straight down the button band here. And then I'm going to mark where that first hole is.
And what are you going to use to mark it with?
A marking pen or whatever. What did you have last time? This one isn't working right. Oh, wait a minute. We made it wrong.
So you're using a chalk marker.
Yeah. So that I've got it there. So that's really where my button's going to go. I move it in the center of the buttonhole. I do each one separate on the way down when I'm putting buttons in, because just in case my buttonhole is in the wrong spot or something like that. I mean, a lot of people will just mark all the way down 3.5 inches and then just sew in all the buttons. But then you run the risk of if you made a mistake with where you've put your buttonhole, that when you button up your shirt, they won't all line up.
In other words, you're going to get gaps.
Yeah. So I like doing it separate just in case. So that's where my button will go.
Okay.
Okay, so when I'll take this machine to the machine, and we'll have to put your button foot on.
Yes, okay.
And then what I also do is I put in a little shank on using this. I put this underneath the foot when I'm sewing the button in, so that it creates a little gap between the shirt and the button. That way it's much easier to button your shirt up.
Okay, we will show this on camera. Okay, so we've removed the buttonholer and we've put on the foot for sewing the button on here. On my machine, that's called the T foot. Don't know why T as opposed to B for button, but anyways. And now what do we do?
Okay, so now we're going to sew a button on.
So I should...
Let me do this first because you've never done a button this way.
No, I haven't. I have sewn buttons before, but you do it first. You do it. You do you. You do you. And we'll see how this works out.
Okay. Oh, I need it. Oh, okay, you've done all there.
Yeah. I think I should switch over to the other camera for closer look here.
Got the spot where I'm going to put the button. I need to put this in the where you put the buttonhole. Where's the button? You got buttonhole now. I need a button.
Yes. Okay, well, just give me a second here to find it. That's not it.
I think mine's 23. I'm not sure.
That's it right there, 14.
Is that the right thing? I guess that's the only one.
Yeah, that's the only one. That's
okay.
The one.
Yep.
So, okay, so you see, we selected the one that looks like a button.
Okay, I'll put the button where over top of the dot where I have it, right? Now I'm gonna have to do this, okay, because your foot doesn't go down.
Yeah, my foot does go down.
Yeah, I know, but I have to press to start to sew, right?
You can push this button, this will put it down.
Oh, okay.
Because you got to line it up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got your foot down, it's anchoring it, and you've estimated where...
I don't like the way this works. Anyway.
Well, why would yours work any different?
Yeah, okay, so what I do is I move the hand wheel down to put the needle through the hole of the button. All right, then I shove this thing underneath. That's where I need the awl. Now I put the button. Now I put this down. Okay, and now I gotta make sure this works.
So you're turning the flywheel.
Yeah.
So you're doing this manually, and the needle should jump over to the next hole. And this is where you make sure that it's going to...
Oh, no.
No, you put it in the wrong spot.
No, well, see, mine goes that way.
Well, this is mine. Carry on. You don't have to move anything. You don't have to move anything.
What? I can't go down.
Okay, so then move the button over. You just raise your... I don't know what you're doing.
I don't know. This machine works completely different than the way I have my machine. Let me do this off camera first to see.
Okay. Okay, so Walter just figured out how to sew the button on. We did a test button and it worked out okay, and there's the button there already. So what he's doing now is he buttoned it up in the hole, and now he's lining up the button bands again for the second button. So you've got them matched up just like you did for the first one, marking it with your chalk marker where the location of the button will be, if the chalk marker works. I hate those chalk markers, those ones.
Yeah.
Can you see it? I can't see it.
Also try to check where it's located on the button band. So you have the ruler with me?
Yeah, okay, I've got a camera in my hand, and like, oh my, some days. One of these days, Alice. Pow, to the moon.
Okay.
All right, so what did you use the ruler for?
I just checked to make sure it's about the center, not completely.
Okay. Not completely. The exactness of your language has thrilled me through this whole process. Not.
There's sure holes in they're in the wrong spot, so.
This is why nobody could afford to buy when you have them, you make them a shirt and pay for it, because you'd have to charge them thousands of dollars because you're painstakingly
painstakingly pain in the ass, right?
Yeah, but you're always telling me, oh, you know, it's, as long as it's close enough. No. But then you go, no, it's not.
That makes more
So
sense.
I'm very confused at times.
It has going about a half. So,
Okay, so what?
Where's the button? I need a button.
So I'm trying to figure out what you're doing right now. I know you're trying to line up where the button's going to go, and I can't pick these stupid buttons up. Come on. All right, here we go.
This button is about half an inch in. So we need about half an inch in. So there's half an inch there.
Okay. All right. So you're going half an inch from the edge of the button band, the outside edge of the button band.
Okay, so let's stick the button on.
Okay.
Which I just dropped.
Oh, my Lord. This is just a frickin' frack show today.
Okay, so we'll put the button on here.
Okay.
Where we want it, right?
Right.
Okay, slide it. Slide it underneath the foot.
Okay.
Okay, I stick the needle down.
Into the hole. So you're
Into
adjusting
the first
so it'll go down and not hit the button.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now I put this little handy dandy shank thing underneath.
Is that the technical name for it? Shank thing?
Yeah. You can use, people put like 2 pins underneath sometimes, or anything that'll hold the button up a little bit. But I have this ruler that I use. Yeah, the Janome comes with a hump jumper. You can use that too.
Sorry for the camera work, people.
I put the foot down, right? Now, I'm not sure if I've got my holes in the right spot for the button, right? So it bounced to the next hole. And, yep, I luckily have it in the right spot for the needle to go through.
Well, so buttonholes, like for these kind of buttons, are standard setting.
They're standard setting, but you may get it go through your first hole, but then when it moves over to your second hole, because it's moved forward or backward a bit, it may miss that hole.
Okay.
And so you step on the gas, and then all of a sudden you go bang and you break your needle.
Yeah. So don't step on the gas. And Walter set the machine.
We're sewing the first 2 holes.
And we set the machine very slow.
Yeah.
So at this point, though, the chances of it, unless something...
Okay, so now it's finished the first 2 holes. And I'm going to move the button to the next 2 holes.
And then one thing you didn't tell people was you pulled up 2 tails.
Yes, I did. Because it supposedly is supposed to tie off on its own. But I've had in the past, I've found buttons will sometimes fall off. So I pull the tails up and then tie the button off myself.
And what we mean by the tails is the top thread and the bobbin thread pulled out before started sewing. So he's got lots of thread hanging over the edge.
I'm going through the second set of holes. I pulled it down so that it is in alignment with the second set of holes for the button, right? And then I'm checking the needle position again to make sure it's okay. It's okay. So now I can sew the second set of holes.
And I thought this buttonhole, or once it gets finished its little cycle, you can just leave your foot on the pedal and it'll cut the thread. I thought. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Mine doesn't.
Oh, did you take your foot off before it finished the cycle right there?
I might have.
I think you did. Well, no, don't do that.
Okay, no, it didn't. It finished the cycle.
All right.
It didn't do an automatic cut.
So I wasn't sure if it did or not. All right, so now you're going to take...
I need the thread cutter.
Oh, you're a pain in the butt. Where is it? There it is.
Okay. So I'll just cut. I leave the tail on. I mean, people were going to laugh at me for doing this. And then I tie off the 2 threads on the top and 2 threads on the bottom for the button.
It just adds an extra level of security.
And that's it.
Okay, so you see he's tying off those 2 threads at the top, just a basic couple of knots. I really wish we had a cameraman person, somebody who knew what they were doing. This is very tricky. I hope people I'm not frustrating you too much with my camera skills, because you're frustrating me. There we go. So that's the top, and there's 2 tails at the bottom.
I know you probably think, oh, I'm being overcautious, but I just do it this way because that's the way I do it.
So now I'm going to do the buttons next, the rest of them, but you've seen how the process works. You don't need to see me doing it. And I have sewn buttons on using this same method, minus the tail tying.
And minus using
the shank thing. Yeah, I've never used the shank thing, but I'm going to do that off camera. Okay, that was a teensy bit tedious, but the shirt is done. If you want to see what it looks like on me, I'm not doing a strip show here right at the moment. You will see it on Stephen and Walter Live on Sunday at 4 p.m. I will be premiering my new shirt that I made, well, with the help of Walter. Now, here's the question. Will I do another one? Not absolutely sure. It won't be any time like in the next couple of weeks or so. No. I found this whole process annoying. I've been the teacher. I don't know. No, not really. I just find it isn't, it's hard to describe. It's not hard, but it's tedious. It's a little bit tedious. And yeah, I think if I made like a bunch of them like Walter has, after a while, yeah, you get into the routine and you don't have the problems that I had. And I didn't have any major problems. I just found it a little bit fiddly, I guess. So anyways, I am very pleased with the outcome. And I hope that what we showed you, you got, why are you standing way over there looking like you're waiting for a train? Actually, we should be looking up here, but I don't know. Forgive us for the camera stuff. We're not good with that for this kind of thing. But anyways, yeah, so what are we going to work on next? Well, we're going to, and this may start it next week, we're going to do an In the Hoop 3D project, a gingerbread windmill, Christmas one. I'm not sure how we're going to go about this, because we're both going to take certain pieces and work on them and then bring the pieces together and put the whole structure together. That'll take several weeks. It'll be several sessions. We'll see if we get started on that next week. I have to talk over with Nibs here as to how we're going to proceed with that. So we got a little cut off right at the very end, but we were just saying that we will be showing you the shirt. I will be wearing it come Sunday on Stephen and Walter Live. That's what we'll be premiering it. And of course, our next project will be coming up next week on So Chatty, hopefully, where we're doing an In the Hoop project. So I hope you'll be able to tune in then. I hope you didn't find this series too confusing. It was very difficult to videotape it when there was 2 of us, one teaching, one learning, and we need cameramen. We really do need cameramen. But anyways, we hope you got something out of this. I know I certainly did. And yeah, we'll see what's coming up next. So see you next week. Bye for now.